Frank! We need to do something for the Aussie and Kiwi Hell Let Loose boys, the new fellas that are jumping into the game that don't know what they're doing. They're running all over the map. They're running around like headless chickens. We need to help them out. Yeah, well, I fucking agree. And I already have a video on my channel that teaches you the basics, but I did that solo. And if it's one thing I know, boys, is when you play with yourself solo, it's not as fun as playing with a couple of fucking partners. So, I jumped on Discord the other day and I got a message. A message from the great man from the 11th, Mr. Jedi Batman from New Zealand. And he said to me, Frankie, would you be interested in putting a video together to help the new players, to help the blueberries learn how to play Hell Let Loose? Something that will empower them to learn the basics and then bring their own style into this great fucking game. This great game that might be dying. We've seen the shit trailers. We've heard the fucking idiot Yanks carrying on like fucking heroes, thinking they run the game. Not fucking anymore, boys. Not fucking anymore. I am partnering up for this video and for another 6 after it with Jedi Batman from the 11th and his Sheep Shagger team. That's what they call themselves. I'm not being fucking racist. I am speaking intelligible. And I am partnering up with ya boy, ya crispy, also from the 11th and his channel. We're going to release a video here, right here, on Frank and Augie. This one, you're watching it right now. That's episode 1. Then 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on his channel. I'll put the link in the description to episode 2. And then back to here on Frank and Augie for episode 7. We're going to cover everything in as much detail as we need to help you boys on the Aussie and NZ Facebook group, on Reddit, on fucking Discord, on your mum's fucking laptop. I don't care. We're covering it for you in as much detail as we can. If you've been playing the game for as long as we have, if you're level fucking 300 and you take a shit and a piss in a bucket rather than going to the toilet between matches, stick around and tell us what we missed so we can add it in for a future episode. And if you're brand new to the game, hit fucking like, give us a subscribe, and stay tuned for more content, because this is where you need to be. We want to make the game succeed. We're not going to sit around being depressed, being sad fucking sacks and saying the game's going to die. We're going to make the game survive with you. So if you're on the Facebook channel, if you're in the Discord, I've said it enough. Give it a like, give it a subscribe, stick around, learn the basics with us, and then bring your own shit to the game. Get amongst it. It doesn't matter if you're in a clan. Doesn't matter if you just like playing on the weekend with your boys. This is the video for you. Hell Let Loose, the guide, 7 episodes, starts now. And as I say in every video, boys, let's fucking get it. You! Alright, so very briefly, I'm going to switch to in-game audio, so don't chuck a fucking tantrum, Webble. It will go back to decent audio in a second, but I'm switching into in-game audio now just to show you. This is what you're going to see when you first start playing the game, boys. And there's one thing that I want to point out before we jump into an actual match, and I teach you more about that stuff there, and that is your T17 list. Every time you play this game, you can see who you've played with, and you can add them to a little friends list in the game. You don't have to make them PlayStation friends. You don't have to make them Xbox bum buddies. You can actually just add them in the game, and you can join on them. Okay? So all you have to do, you can see down here in the bottom right, is press triangle. And conveniently, someone has tried to add me recently, which is great for this video. So I'm going to press triangle. I'm not going to press any other button. Triangle. Here is my PlayStation Network friends. We're going to skip across to R1. That's my T17 list. We're going to come back to that in a second. And over here is people that want to add me. Boggy, we're going to come back to that. But then down here, the furthest on the right, you can see all of the recent players that I've played with. So if I play with someone good in a match, and I forget to do it later, which I'll show you, I can go through this and I can say, hey, I want to be your friend. I think I'm already friends with Butcher. Grunter. Never met him in my life. Or them. I can click on add T17. I'm not going to do it because I don't know them. And then I'll add them to my T17 list. And then if they accept, like I'll do here for Boggy, accept, what's going to happen is Boggy will now appear in this list here. And if I want to play with any of these boys on my T17 list, plenty going on. Big Dino's online. So let's say I want to join Choby Drew. He's in my clan, the TFMC boys. Fuck yeah, boys. Up the whistle. I want to join on Toby. I click on that. I come down here. I can play with him now anytime I like. And I like to play with King Zhong Toby. All right, same goes for any of the boys on this list. That's something you definitely need to know. You can have your boys on your normal PlayStation friends list, that's fine. But this is the easy way to do it. There's Winger, what a fucking legend. I want to go play with him again. All right, so down here, right, add your... Oh, that's another one I know. There's Pharaoh. Don't add him. Nah, he's a legend. Let's find someone who I haven't played with before. Raptor. Nah. Yep, there you go. Add friend. He'll then appear in here. Add them. Away you go, boys. Away you go. There is another way to do that, and I'll show you in a second, because we're going to press Find Match. Hurtgen Forest. Now, let's say we've been playing Hurtgen Forest for a while. On the PlayStation, I'm going to hold down the touchpad just for a couple of seconds. There's a scorecard. Now, let's say I've been playing in Fake Scott, in his squad, for a whole match, and I have a great time with the Rolfs boys. Shout out to the Rolfs, we're TFMC versing them this weekend. And I really got along with Remco, and I want to play with him again. Level 72. I can press X on him and do the same thing that you just saw before. Add him as a T17 friend. Then he'll appear in that list. We'll get back out of the game. He'll then appear back on this list here, and we'll pretend that he's Dragon Fister, and I join on him. Fucking simple, isn't it, boys? That's how you make friends on Hell Let Loose, and that's how you make sure you can start playing with blokes that communicate regularly. Speaking of which, let's get back into a match. So when you first get into a match, just pick Rifleman. Join a squad with a squad leader. Make sure they've got a decently high level. These days, somewhere between maybe 70 and anything above. All right, if they're lower than that, you can take your risk, roll the dice, see how you go. If their name's Flying Pharaoh, definitely don't pick it. Just kidding. Join the squad, pick Rifleman, and you can come into the game and you'll open the map and you'll see this, all right? Which is a series of like points that you have to capture. And this is warfare mode. And we'll cover that in Crispy's videos, what involves in warfare, offensive, defensive, blah, blah, blah. You'll see a series of points like this, though. This is Purple Heart Lane. The first point that we have to defend is Cabbage Patch, then it goes on to Madeline Bridge. The midpoint, which is the third point, which is the point that both sides contest at the start of the map, in this game, is called Flat Position. Then there's Dove River Battery, which is the first objective that my team wants to capture, and the final point that we want to capture to get a 5-0 is the Forward Battery, or the Battery, as we call it. And basically what you need to understand with how all of this works is what these little green things mean on the map. And so, pardon me, we'll zoom in just a little bit as my dog has a little burp by my side as well. Is you see this circle on the map. If you get inside that circle, you're worth 3 soldiers. So it's a bit different to Battlefield and all of those other games. Blueberries see this and say, I just need to get in that circle, that'll help me cap. Not true. In fact, if we zoom back out, if you just get in any of these squares around the circle, in these quadrants, as I call them, you're still worth 1 soldier towards the cap. That means even if you're not in that circle, but there aren't many of the opposition team inside that circle, you're helping to capture that point. And then when you get inside that circle, when you impregnate that circle, you're worth 3, which is even better. But it's important for you to know that if you spawn from this outpost here that I'm highlighting with my my cursor, or from this garrison over here, which is where my cursor is now, if you spawn in off that, you're still helping to cap for your team. So I can jump on my comms, as you can see there, I can tell my boys, right, I'm helping cap, I'm on the cap, and then your squad leader will tell you what you might need to do, and what your squad leader will say will be covered in Crispy's video. I don't want to talk too long about that. That's how you help cap a point, okay? If you're on offensive, or if you're in a warfare, we'll cover that stuff later. You don't need to be in this circle, but if you can, it's advantageous because you count for 3, all right? But you can still count for 1 out here, which is why it's important, which again, you'll see in Crispy's video, to move slowly, to take your shots, and not just do the Rambo, like Augie and I used to do, and try and get into that point, all right? That comes later. Take your time, move through the map slowly, use your map. It's touchpad on PlayStation. I don't know what it is on Xbox. Someone will definitely tell me in the comments. And then help cap the point slowly without dying, all right? And that's how warfare and offensive work. Purple Heart Lane. Frankie boy, job done. Moving on to the next point. All right, and the only other thing that we're going to cover in this first introduction video, you know how to add T17 friends, you know how to read the map and work out how to cap a point, is what other roles you could possibly play when you first start playing. The first is to possibly pick support. If you have support, you have access to 50 supplies, which means if you look at a map in the blue zone, we'll pause and we'll have a look at that. If you can drop your 50 supplies in this area down here, this blue zone area, you can either build a garrison, which is these markers here, which your whole army can come in from, not just like an outpost, which is just what your squad can come in off. This is an OP over here. These are garrisons. You can build one of those with just your supplies, or you can build nodes, which is represented by these markers here. So with just 50 supplies, you can help build those. And I'm going to show you that now as well. So if you play support, drop your 50 supplies in the blue zone and you can build those. Side note, and we'll come back to this in a later video, if you drop 2 sets of supplies, and we'll show you how to do that later, you can also build garrisons up here in the red zone. That's a spoiler though. We'll come back to that. Getting back, if you want to play engineer, you can also do this. Build nodes. So you get your supply guy, your support player on comms and say, hey man, drop your 50 supplies, or you grab a supply truck, even better, and drop 150 supplies. You can build a manpower, a munitions, and a fuel node, which is great for your commander, which we don't even need to touch, but you're going to help your commander use skill abilities just for his or her class by building your nodes. And even better, side note, you get some really good experience points. So you can grab the engineer role, get your wrench out, put the blueprints down for manpower, munitions, or fuel, like I'm doing here. Then you switch to your hammer using your D-pad, which I'm going to do now, and you're going to build some nodes and really, really help your squad. It's such an underrated value that you can bring as a blueberry, as a new player to your team. The experienced players are dead set just going to give you gobbies all day, boys, if you get that stuff done. So please, get your wrench out, get your hammer out, and help the boys out. Side note, if you spread them a little bit further apart, if the attacking team does find it, you can maybe avoid them getting all of them at once and keep some help there for your commander. But that's it from Frankie Boy. Play Rifleman, work on the map, don't rush to the circle, add some boys on your T17 list. When you feel a bit more confident with the game and you don't want to just be Rifleman, play support, drop supplies, listen to your squad lead, get on the comms, that's the green chat, and then if you're really good at that, jump in engineer and no one else has got it, go build some fucking nodes and help the boys out. It's the basics from your boy Frank and Augie. Jump into the next video on Crispy's channel. The link will be in the description. We hope you appreciate it. I'll see you on Facebook. I'll see you on Discord. And most importantly, I'll see you on the battlefield. Cheers, boys.